Hey guys, it's Green Zero here, and we're going to go through myself versus Stephen Donald Nashington in the Command Cup 2015. Now, spoiler alert, if you want to see how this series went, obviously go head over to Kane's Wrath Online and check out the replay pack, because spoilers coming up right now. Pause the video, pause it, okay, spoilers coming out. So basically I'm going to go through a quick highlights video, so I'm going to jump through the best parts of all the games that were played. We'll save the result to the end, so the excitement builds, because it was a really good series, and I hope you like this one here. Stay tuned, we're going to cut through all the little bits. I'm going to have a bit of chat about them as well in regards to what's happening, so stay tuned to this video. Here it comes. So as we can see here, if we jump straight ahead, Nashington did get a Reckoner out in the first game that I didn't actually see. I knew he had one, but it actually got right into my War Factory. Couldn't actually stop it, which was a bit of a pain. So he took a bit of an early lead on Tiberium Zone, of course. But I will clean this up shortly. He won't really get too much more damage done, but it did definitely set me behind from the start of the game. So basically, to try to get ahead, I did a crane push with War Factory, double War Factory. I put one back at the expansion field, and then another one further forward to try to push Nashington. So that worked out not too bad. A few Pitbulls got around the back, stopped his blue harvesters, destroyed them, that's for sure. But he did fast tick, and I could see this, and I'm like, wow, I need to get out of here, because he's just going to drop obelisks, and it's not going to work out too well. So I stopped his harvesting for quite some time, so you can see that his harvesters have to get pulled off the line and things like that. And then I try to focus it down. I know he's got bike buggy as well, which means I need to watch out for that. He still hasn't done too much about those bike buggy, the Pitbulls at the back. But yeah, I was moving back, so I'm like, yeah, this is not going to keep working. It's just going to be temporary. There's the obelisk drop, not really going to be able to achieve too much, so I did move back here. For some reason my MCV didn't want to deploy there, but I deployed here, and then I realized these guys are going to run straight back through to my back area, and having a little bit of trouble organizing myself here. But he's going to get quite a number of kills, I think. So I was just going to put those tanks hold ground stance back there, just so they could shoot at harvesters. Deny harvesting, but the problem is I really don't have a lot to stop him from destroying these harvesters, and I eventually try to pull some of them away to save them and get a few more tanks to respond. But yeah, it's not looking too good here. He does destroy, I think he got 3 harvesters. He will lose most of this here now. I do have AP ammo, so I should be able to clean these guys up. So yeah, I was like, sell the comm center. I went fast comm center because I thought he was going to go infantry. So I've got AP ammo. You need it against Black Hand. But yeah, I had to retreat at this point in time. And so game 1 kind of ended not long after that. You can see I did get clicked. I did get a second ref down, which was a good effort, but I got clicked and lost a few harvesters as well. And of course he's got purifiers, and there's not very many tanks left. I really didn't have a lot of options. I was just like, yep, cool. I'm probably not going to hold this. I had to make a go of it, because it's a tournament. I have to see if maybe I can pull something out of it. If I get enough towers, maybe. But the thing is that these purifiers, I've got really nothing much to deal with them. So Nashington, yeah, he just caught me off guard with the Reckoner. He held the push pretty well. Again, he did see it coming. I'm just like, yep, cool. That's game 1. So Nashington took the first game, 1-0. We'll jump into the next series, because it is best of 9, of course. I probably should have mentioned that at the start. So Nashington took an early lead. So game number 2, I picked out Volcano Struggle, because I thought it would be a good map to play Nashington on, and to stop the Black Hand there. You can see that I did try to snipe his engineer, and then I realized I wasn't going to get that one, so I got this other one, which was walking around, because he went for a flame open, and I thought that was really unusual. Actually, no, probably not that much, I guess, because there are 3 spike he can take, but unfortunately my maneuverability there managed to sneak through, scout him out. He didn't do any kind of rushes, so early snipe at the start of the game, but yeah, then the game moved into a mid-game period after that. So I took the expansion and things like that, but of course Nashington did roll a few Scorpion tanks in. These Predator tanks were supposed to go for his expansion, but he had an Imp Swarm, so I had to back off. He did snipe down a Harvester, but the Hammerheads luckily are responding. Trying to go Hammerhead Pred on this level here, because I thought it'd be good. Then I would have to go Tech eventually, because it is, it is kind of a closed type map, especially up the top. I knew that Tech would be important. Putting a lot of towers down, because I was expecting the Imp to actually attack there, but then they didn't attack it, and the Pred tanks had to just drive around, luring the infantry around in circles. And eventually I was just going to be like, well, I'll have enough hammerheads to destroy that. And I was taking it early 3rd as well, or basically 2nd or last base, just because, I had a bit of time. I didn't want to tech just yet, because I knew Nashington didn't have tech, and I had a bit of map control. Going for blue tib as well, so things settled down a little bit there. I did end up pushing some of my Preds and APCs with the Hammerheads. The Preds are mainly to draw fire and crush, while the Hammerheads did most of the lifting. Nashington's infantry is a little bit spread out here, and I took advantage of that to push through. He's going to probably take my main, but it's not terribly important. There's no Tiberium left there. I think he did take the main out as well. But as you can see, he's got Mantis, which are a bit of a pain. Mantis are so hard to take Mantis, especially with Hammerheads, because you're trying to get them, and that Harvest is probably dead. Yeah, he's probably dead, but nonetheless, he did hold that, and he's going to have his base defended as well, so I'm not going to be able to get in there. A lot of small engagements did break out after that point in time, trying to keep his infantry numbers low with the hammerheads, of course, but trying to avoid those mantis. Oh man, they're just a pain in the ass, those things. He did have a Redeemer out by this time here, so I am starting to work on my tech. A few flame tanks, not terribly effective. He did eventually push this Redeemer forward. I didn't have a Marv out yet, I was going for one, but I had a few jugs behind this structure here, the War Factory, and the Prez just chilling back a little bit there. I had to defend a top attack as well, just rearranging my harvesters. Those ABCs are probably dead, but going back, yep, let's go back down there. Those men just moved in, I didn't actually see them, so they actually killed quite a number of hammerheads, which was really bad. But his Redeemer's taking a lot of damage now, and I almost snare it as well. I was a little bit disappointed not to actually snare it. And then I try to rush in to clean up the infantry forces there, but these damn Mantis are still there. They plagued me pretty much all series long. That Mantis is going to get destroyed, Nashington not paying too much attention to it. But yeah, a lot of small engagements. Pushed his Redeemer back, so that kept me alive till the Marv was out. This next part here saw a lot of action, basically. I moved forward my jugs and my Marv now. Had a few hammerheads trying to get repairs, of course, which they were kind of in the wrong position. And this Infa force moves in to try to take out my second base, which was a pain. Mantis cleaning up a few hammerheads there, which was still with the main force, but I was trying to get rid of this here. There's EMP buggies moving in. I tried to drop some minefields, wasn't quick enough, and then I had a serious power problem here, and I was just trying to fight off this attack down here, which I'd easily be able to get, but he got a pretty good emp on those Juggernauts, as you can see, and I was a bit frustrated that the Redeemer gets away with like a smidgen of health again, and I took some pretty heavy Spectre shots. You can't really see it there, kind of just at the last moment you see those Spectre shots come in, and a lot of these Juggernauts so heavily damaged that he quickly snipes down two more in the retreat, so I lost 3 out of 4, which was pretty bad. The hammerheads should be able to come in and clean up, but I think I ended up moving a little bit too far forward here. No, not quite. Managed to clean these guys up, so that's not too bad. So that kind of led us to the last part of the match here. I tried to go back to my main, but Nashington was already there. I had the Surveyor, so I put down Sonic Emitters, try to deny him that kind of economy, because I really needed that. I did get all the blue tip for most of the match, but as you can see, I built up a very large number of hammerheads. I've got Juggernauts, I got the Marv, I got the Space Command uplink. He's going to try to defend that down there, but I really should have won this game. I'm watching this. This is the first time, well, actually the second time watching back the final engagement. This is the final engagement for the game, so I can see the Redeemer is there. I'm like, yep, cool, going to get a good shot off on him there. I try to target down the Mantis because the hammerheads can just take care of everything else, and I try to get that last Mantis real quickly before he gets too much damage off. And this shockwave, I'm like, yep, cool, he'll walk straight into that, and then he kind of spliced him, and he just completely avoided it. And I was like, oh my god, I needed that to hit. And then there's Spectre artillery there. The EMP buggies are pretty much all but dead, and I am losing that area down there, but I thought, yeah, I'll be fine, I'll be able to take this, but then my hammerheads just started evaporating, and the Marv was so heavily damaged, and there's Tib Core there, and I'm just like, oh my god, I just lost my hammerheads. That did not work out too well. Calling an orbital, which does pretty much take out most of his Spectres. A few of them might sneak away there. You do see some of them blow up, but I'm not sure how many. I wasn't paying attention because I was too busy microing it elsewhere, so unfortunately I had to give that expansion up as well, because it just wasn't going to happen. And all my Juggernauts were dead, and my Marv, I couldn't believe it. I'm sitting there going, oh my god, I should have had this game. And then my Marv going down as well. I had no hammerheads left. If I had my hammerheads, it'd be fine. I just can't believe I lost everything there. And so Nashington is actually going to take game 2, so I was 2-0 down in the series, and you can see I pretty much GG out right here, so Nashington takes it 2-0. So game 3, once again, I had the selection of maps. So I decided to pick Tournament Decision because it's a good map to play Blackhand on, but then he switched to Nod. I didn't even realise, so he was not in this game. He did open with a Flame Tank and just a Blackhand squad. So there's no Reckoner. He got my Spike, but ended up taking that one down. So not too much damage absorbed by that, and he is going to take down the other Spike as well, which is a pain, but I was planning to go for late game, and then there's a few very small skirmishes, but pretty much I rushed straight down the tech tree from that point. I think Nashington did kind of catch on that I was going for the Firehawk strat as well. He did click me just then as well, so that was bad. He did see the airfield at the front. I tried to hide it before, it didn't work out too well. And I was sitting there, I was like, he's totally going to phase or stasis this when, or fence it once I bomb it. And as you can see, he did it straight away. I'm like, damn, like I was hoping he wasn't watching. And I'm like, that's not good at all. I think he even lose a Hawk on the way out maybe. But I was going for Marvin Juggernauts, and I was just going to push through, and I wasn't really worried about an expansion. I was just going to go straight for it. So yeah, the Firehawks will harass him for a while till that happens. He's going for a Redeemer, of course. Also, Nashington didn't know it, but I already spotted his stealth tanks, and I knew they were going to go for my fireworks, as you can see there. So I try to stratify them away. One of them gets destroyed, and the Zone Trooper squad will take care of the rest. I pretty much used my scan to get rid of it, but he ran down, or he actually accidentally revealed himself when he drove into my base early before, and I don't think he realized that I saw it. So he did lose those. My Firehawks are going to be much less effective in this game, just because there's so much Tib core and stealth, and I even lose another one there over those rockets that are in the middle, which is a bit of a pain. But I'm just about ready to move on to the expansion. Marva's out, and it's going to get pretty nasty from here on out. And with so much laser fencing, my Firehawks just started bombing buildings that couldn't be fenced or imperative to his defense there. I mean, I kept getting his shrine, which pissed him off because he was trying to go for a lot of infantry. Trying to get my upgrades here, realizing I don't have AP ammo, and he does cast this ability here. You can see I'm pretty much almost kind of all in because I'm not going for any eco. I've got no Tib left on my main. I almost lose my Hawks there, so that was almost a problem. They're in a really dangerous position there. I don't know how I ended up with that airfield there again, trying to hide it, but it didn't work out. So he's trying to EMP me and hit me, and this is definitely slowing me down, but I just feel that my defensive position here is just going to be too strong. As you can see, I didn't even realize that airfield went down. I'm like, wow, that actually went down there, and I was like, I'm not actually going to be able to land them there. So I ended up bombing the refinery because I did damage it a bit. I was getting the Juggernauts to try to hit the buildings, and then he did get that airfield there, and just quick mad dash sell off, send some of those units over there to defend that just in case stealth tanks rock back up. But as you can see, he's getting worn down over here, and he did spend a lot on eco, so I'm going to start to push into this base. This engagement is pretty long and drawn out, so we're going to keep an eye on it, just because it was a pretty good engagement here. You can see my Hawks, I did manage to save them, well, 3 of them. There was only 3 to begin with before I lost them last, but he does have some Spectre Artillery. Rage Gen does a decent amount of damage. I do lose a few Juggernauts, but I will try to reclaim those husks. Marv is doing 360s because of the Rage Gen, but at the end of the day, he had to pull his Spectres back a little bit, and his Redeemer was taking a lot of damage. I was pretty confident here. Another refinery went down as well, so I'm like, well, you guys can just take that out. Juggernauts will be really good against that. The Spectres are going to have to move, and it's just a pain to move them because they have that deploy and that set up, and of course, they're not doing it fast enough, so one of them gets sniped straight away, and that wasn't good for him, and I realized I need to move my MCB again. I still haven't put any refineries down on the expansion because I'm like, yep, cool, if I can push him off this base, I'll be in an amazing condition. I can just like scrounge money for a refinery, selling my base defenses as I progress forward as well. And as you can see there, a lot of unit selection, a lot of tight control. They're very tight control, and you can see there all the Spectres now getting destroyed. He's just a little bit flustered, I think, at this point. I'm just being too aggressive and moving really far forward. He does do a double drop, so he's got dual MCVs, but I had a plan for this as well, basically. Well, I didn't have a plan for it, but I was just like, yeah, cool, I've got 4 Juggernauts. Actually, there's only 3 Juggernauts there, so 3 Juggernauts and a Marv, I can focus these down, and that Rage Gen was whiffed. That did not do anything, so I put some towers down as well, mainly just to draw fire, so that was pretty good. And as you can see, Nashington is now starting to fall from this position. I was like hell yeah, because I knew he wasn't at the top, because I could see the top, and he does a bit of a sell-off, and his MCV makes a run for it, and I secure the whole bottom area. And so with the bottom area secured, that allowed me to build a decent amount of, or mixture of units. You can see he did end up taking the top. I tried to bomb it with Firehawks, I just kept taking losses, and eventually I get these mortar pits in, and they do a fair bit of damage. All the while I'm distracting him because I'm getting a sniper team into his main. Because he's going for infantry again, I had to go for sniper teams, and of course I got Juggernauts, so I use the sniper bombard quite a bit in this game if you guys want to check it out. It's a pretty long game, this one here as well. As you can see, the sniper team is right there, so I am getting my Juggernauts now. He has a fence on it, and I've only got 3 Jugs, so that will take quite a while. I even build a commander to try to C4, or just get a surprise C4 on an MCV. But as you can see, yeah, these pit walls are going to get finally cleaned up, but they did a lot of damage. The commander's there. For some reason, he wouldn't jump jet the MCV. I couldn't figure out why, and then he fenced it, which cancelled the command. And I'm like, oh man, well, I'm pretty much dead. So that was a bit of a waste of money, but it could have been a lot better. But yeah, I used the distraction there to destroy. I ended up using the Hawks as well, just to make sure I finished it off. But he even had an engineer there for repairs. I'm not sure if that's what it was there for, but he did lose that tech center. And like I said before, the sniper bombards did ridiculous damage. I also got his tier 2, and I kept bombing his shrine as well. Kind of screwed that up, but I got it anyway. But I got his tier 2, his air tower, and more refineries with the sniper bombard. That was ridiculously effective. I'm not sure why Nashington wasn't able to counter that. He tried to build Venoms, but of course I stopped that from happening. So he did lose quite a lot to the Bombarder, especially the base up the top, because he's going to lose like his build radius there. So that was a big win for me. And I had a super weapon as well, so all for the delay here. Trying to fortify this position a bit here because he might try to go on with bite buggies. That's why there's some zone troopers there. We'll see him try to make an entrance in a second. So a lot of use of cool units in this game here. You can see he did try to plow through, but with a triple rocket bunker there, rockets in the opposite structures and zone troopers. He took a pretty big pounding from that, and he realized he wasn't going to get in through that way there. So I was just about ready to push on his main base. He'd moved into my main base. You can see here there's some sniper teams and stuff like that, because that will wreck him. Trying to move up my whole force. He's got some stealth, so this is going to be pretty hard to break. So we'll have to see how that goes. I did get an epic stop move there to prevent myself from destroying or damaging my own Marv. So I was really proud with that there. It took almost no damage. The sniper teams are just murdering now the infantry that Nashington has here, and the Juggernauts are now moving into position as well. Sniper teams are in a great position behind the Marv. Get a good shockwave off. Very happy with the shockwave there. Just checking around, making sure he's not doing anything else, because I had this engagement under control, like completely under control here. He does have some EMP buggies, but the Redeemer now is pretty much dead. I'm not sure why he tried to silo drop it, because Juggernauts will just shoot over the top of that. And when I cleaned up his Redeemer, I'm like, yep, cool. This base really should fall now. He doesn't have the DPS now to take out the Marv, unless he has like a ton of infantry I can't see. But of course the sniper teams are here, and you're going to see some pretty good positioning from them as well, because I believe he does run forward very, very shortly in regards to this engagement. We'll have to have a look. I'm pretty sure it's just about to happen. But yeah, just selling up everything here. Move my MCV, and here you go. He does a big push of units here. Those bikes get pretty much destroyed. The sniper teams now, because there's a heroic buggy there, they did kind of EMP everything, so they couldn't shoot at the snipers, but I put them in the building and it gave them ridiculous range. They actually started just sniping down everything. Look at the range. They're shooting even out of the side of the screen there. Cool in the orbital. Again, there's a lot of stealth there you guys can't see, because there is a tower, and that will just completely prevent it from getting in. I decided to sell the space command uplink because I've used pretty much the two abilities that I wanted to use in the game, and they'd have a pretty long recharge. So now I'm just going to move through, and this base is pretty much dead. Nashington slowly falls back, and he pretty much doesn't get any more kills here. Everything falls, and he just decides to back out from his main. So that was a good victory there. But yeah, I do get to fire the Iron Cane. You don't get to see it because I fire it and look away, so I'm not even going to show you that. But I still held on to it anyway. But it became a bit of a run around the map, and I had a ridiculous army, and he was trapped in my main now with nothing to defeat that. So I did score a game, a pretty long game here, so it'll go 1-2 in, well, still in Nashington's favour, but I did get a win in game 3. So that takes us to game number 4, and of course Nashington picked Rift. Very boring. I didn't want to fight him on Rift. That's one level I wanted to avoid, so I went all in this game. Yay, all in time. And it was really surprising because Nashington didn't send out too many scouts. I did foxhole pretty much the middle, and I managed to secure the bottom. I actually beat him to the bottom spike, so that was bad for him. He had no eyes on it, and I kind of knew there might be a Reckoner. That's why I had my Orcas launched already. So I'm going Orca, and with a what do you call it, War Factory. This is going to be a really tight, intense game. It's a really good one. I like this one here. And anyway, I come down and I believe I spot the Reckoner. I was expecting it to be down the bottom, so that's why I didn't move too far. And these Orcas are in a great position. And I only want one volley, so 4 rockets, that's enough. Disable. Bam. Once it's disabled, let's get out of dodge, go straight for his base, because that's what you should do, because you're going to prepare for it. And I was happy to see that once I got to his base, there was very little there. I get 2 harvesters, I believe. And then I actually start to forge off my Orcas to try to destroy these bikes, as many as possible. So they're on hold fire stance, they're trying to destroy them. I now order them to a retreat. So it was a bit messy, but I did actually get a lot of bikes. Well, 2 bikes so far, and I'm turning these guys around to go grab another one because, you know, I can. So just pulling these guys back. So I didn't lose any Orcas. I got 3 bikes and 2 harvesters, and his Reckoner was gone, so it was a great open. And then the secondary attack was beautiful. It was textbook. Pitbull's coming from one direction, and it pulled his whole force away. And I'm like, yep, cool, let's grab these 2 harvesters. Nashington is down to 0 harvesters again. I do believe I lose an Orca this time, but I lost 1 Orca, 2 more harvesters. He has no harvesters at this point. And look at all the Pitbulls I have, and I've still got 3 Orcas as well. So it was fantastic at this point in the game for me. And then the third attack pretty much finished him off. Once again, he wasn't out of position this time, but I just decided to suicide Orcas here. He had almost no bite buggy, and the Pitbulls had circumvented all the infantry to come up from the south side, and the infantry were way out of position. Only 1 Orca actually died. I didn't even realize that till now, but at this point I'm like, yep, cool. You've got like a bunch of buggies and no harvesters and no spike, and his infantry now are just arriving to the party, so they ran all the way around, and that was not good from him. And I was like, wow, that went down really well. And I was very happy with that, and Nashington did surrender, so I actually leveled the series 2-2 and got a dangerous map out the way as well. And so we entered game number 5, so Nashington got the map choice again. Pick Smash Dust Bowl. Was not impressed because I knew he was going to do something deadly on this map, and he did do a flame open, like a Disciple open to take both the spikes. I did capture my spikes, so I got the bonus, and I got scouts through as well, so from the start it turned into a bit of an eco game. but we're going to see how it developed a little bit later on to see what happens here. Not too much happens after the first like 5 minutes or in the first 5 minutes, aside from just scouts versus scouts, which was pretty intense, and both sides pretty much outmaneuvered each other a couple of times there. I did end up doing a pitbull with an orca push, fast orcas, which it started out really good, but then it kind of didn't go too fantastic here. The pitbulls didn't really achieve too much aside from harassing the harvesters. The orcas will score, I think, about 2 kills before they are also cleaned up in this engagement here, so it didn't do as much damage as I wanted, but it kept him on the back foot a little bit. He had a lot of eco as well, which was pretty bad for me. But yeah, Nashington did end up clicking me as well, which did hurt, but I did move into the pred hammerhead, which is what I wanted. He did defend the blue field pretty thoroughly. He got a bit of it, as you can see here, but again, this engagement, the Predators mainly just to focus down the building and draw a little bit of fire, while the Hammerheads really do a lot of the bulk work here. I was trying to get the air ground up, so I had a feeling he was going to go for tech or multi-MCV or something like that. As I move across, the Predator surprisingly can shoot over that, which was pretty cool. So you can see he's gone for a Redeemer now, and things get pretty hot after this point in the game. And so pretty much over time, most of my Pred tanks pretty much got cleaned up by infantry. The Hammerheads were still rocking it though, doing a fair bit of damage, but he did push to my third base, which was a real pain, and I didn't really see. I did see it coming, but I just didn't. There wasn't a lot I could do about it. And there's infantry moving across here now as well, but he is at my third base, and I do actually fall back with tech to try to defend this, and I try to clean up these guys as well. You can see I've already moved out. He's got the whole thing secured, so there wasn't even a fight, so I'm actually in a lot of trouble at this point in the game. But yeah, surprisingly, Nashington didn't have enough to actually push me out of the game at that point. I did manage to build a Marv with a decent amount of Juggernauts and Hammerhead support, which was going to put him into a lot of trouble here. You can see that he does go for the Ration, which causes the Marv to move forward. I do try to take his base, so, well, it's not his base, but, you know, it was going to be his base. And I thought if I can expand there and draw fire over here, I'll get back into the game. It would be great. And actually managed to level the MCV that he has over here, so he's going to be down to basically 1 MCV, and the Hammerhead's now trying to pull back. There's just not enough of them, unfortunately, in this fight, and there's Mantis there now as well. The Marv needs to get back to destroy the Mantis. The Juggernauts are trying to make a run for it, but it was a good start to the engagement, and I did get out with a decent amount, but he has quite a lot of army there as well, which is a bit of a pain, and he does push me back off this base, and I lose the Marv, which almost ends the game right then and there. And because I lost my Marv, unfortunately, I couldn't really try to defend this. I did a pretty good effort of it, but there's only a few Juggernauts remaining. He had Purifiers again, which was a pain. I did manage to expand over the left-hand side, but you're going to see in a second, he's already got an MCV there as well. And I was like, oh man, if that MCV wasn't there, I would have been fine. I probably would have been able to build a decent amount of army before this actually arrived. But unfortunately, Nashington will take game number 5 here, and he'll lead the series 3-2 at this point in time. So we then had game number 6. I got to choose the map, and I picked Stadium. I was a bit wary of this map because it can also favour Black Can. The opening scouts didn't go as well as I wanted them to, but it was good enough. But basically, Nashington didn't rush me or anything like that. So aside from the first few minutes, everyone just expanded as normal before the action actually opens up. So we'll just jump straight to the action then. And that action, of course, ended up being pitbulls versus bikes and buggies, and I try to use the Stadium wall here to my advantage. Try to lure him into attack these so I can take a really fast third as well, because I'm like, he's Black Hand, you know. He hasn't got the greatest tech, and he'll probably click me if he does, so if I have a third base, the clicks are going to just be a waste of time and money. And I managed to vouch him out, or to juke him out here to get him to come back away from my third base here. And there's going to be another pretty big engagement. I'm going for Predator tanks now because I'm just like, yeah, cool, just do Preds. And as you can see here, trying to make sure he's not going to sneak in there and try to move back up around. If I do this because it blocks the line of sight for half of his bike buggy, only a very small amount of it can actually shoot at me when I do this. And I'm not sure if Nashington picked up on this or if he just decided to just go full ball, believing he had enough. So I fortified that building with triple rocket as well, just to help the defense here. But I was pretty confident I could take care of most of this. Most of the bike buggy was getting destroyed, and I mean, I'm leaving a few Predator tanks here. For some reason, my harvesters do a 360 out of that refinery the whole game through, so I end up selling that when it's done. So that was a bit of a pain, but he does find a little bit of a gap here. But of course, there are Predator tanks there and here, so he's not going to get too far. He will have to fall back there. So he still has a lot of bike buggy left over, but again, he's just rushing down his tech tree as well, so the clicks aren't going to be as damaging as he wants them to. And at this point, it's just a lot of juking around him, trying to avoid the Predator tanks while I herd him back to his side of the map, which was pretty good. I did see him moving this MCV quite a long time ago, which is why these Pred tanks are out in front, trying to destroy it, because I'm like, this is a pain. I'm trying to get a tech center down as well. I had a lot of time to do something about that, and I took a little bit too long to get the tech center, I believe. So that's going to cost me. But as you can see, he's already deploying those kind of base defenses there. I've still got these Preds in the middle of the map, which are going to do a bit of work, but I am falling back on this third. So yeah, he did actually clip this field as well, and he has some flame tanks moving while I'm trying to get my juggernauts. So he does manage to clear that building, which was a real pain as well, barely just scraping that through. And he does catch me out of position here as well with the bike buggy very shortly. My Pred's still trying to find a gap into his base, actually coming back to my third. Here you can see, when I saw this, I'm like, oh man, he's got me totally out of position. I have to pull all the harvesters here. This is a big pain. And you can see that he's just planting down tons and tons of obelisks. So I'm like, these Predator tanks really can't do a lot about that. And of course, he's going to go into infantry. And I don't believe I had AP ammo. I'm actually researching it now. But as you can see, the bike buggy did the damage. They just killed all my harvesters. And that allows Nashington to really push ahead in this game. But yeah, unfortunately, I did try one last counter-attack around the back, and I still had some jugs, but I was just fighting a pretty futile effort here. No money, no harvesters, and Nashington just had, like, he didn't even need to refine. He was just in a position here. My Predator tanks that went into the top of his base just, you know, completely get double obbied again, so that was a big pain. And yeah, Nashington does take game number 6 here to lead the series 4-2 to take it to, like, basically the last game. So I was pretty much down to match point here. I was 2 games to 4, so Nashington just needed to win one more. And I picked Battle-Based Beaverton because I've actually played on it quite a lot, and I really like this map. And Nashington, I know that he has probably never played on it, or he's only played on it a couple of times. Actually, I have seen him play on it in one of the other series, but yeah, I knew he'd be really fresh on this map, and I could take full advantage of him. So I was very confident going into this fight here. And as you can see, I wasn't mucking around. Instead of going to my expansion, I went to his expansion with Predator tanks, just streaming them in and going for an MCV push as well. I knew he had no scouts. He didn't rush me, and I knew it, and I knew he had no scouts on my side of the map. So basically, I just went straight for him, and he put a ref down, and I knew that he was in serious trouble when he put that ref down because he had nothing to stop this. And you know, he can't really stop it with Scorpions now because my Predator numbers are just simply too high, and that put him in a pretty big position. He sells off the MCV here, and he's in a lot of trouble. So a lot of stuff in this game is going to happen really fast. So basically, I knew the only thing he could do was infantry, but my AP ammo, I did go for a fast comm center after this, but I knew my AP ammo was a long way away. These Pred tanks, I was getting ready for the parade charge here because I was like, yep, cool, I'm going to have to charge down here. Foxhole just to keep him busy. A few Preds at home just to prevent anything from sneaking in. But as you can see, I'm trying to do this tower defense here, and I'm just falling back slowly to my MCV, just waiting for that AP ammo to finish, but he was holding me off, and this was a problem. It was a pretty big problem because I was like, what is he doing? And like, it didn't take me too long to figure out that he was actually going to try to go to the top expansion there, which was a big problem for me. I'm doing the selling micro as well. As soon as these buildings are about to fall, you sell them to get the full strength rifle squad. AP ammo just finished there. We can see it on the towers now, so he's in a fair bit of trouble here. And as you're having trouble putting these racks down here, I try to get the Pred tanks to cut across the face here. I'm not sure if that was a too good idea because it does expose them. I do stop him from getting blue tib any further than what he's already got. These Pred tanks are going to fall back, but as you can see, I'm just trying to just delay this. He did actually pick off quite a number of Predator tanks that were moving through this area, but at this point in time, he really hasn't got the ability to destroy this base area here. And I think once I realized, like, I see harvesters moving up there, and this is the point where I think I'm like, wow, I might actually have to build some refineries. I don't think I can just win this game with what I've got. And his infantry is still pushing forward, which is a bit of a pain here. And you can see there, I've got a refinery about halfway done. And Nashington here does get cleaned up. And of course, I find this base here, start to move in, and I do deny the harvesting up there as well. So he does eventually push those Preds away at the top, which a lot of them actually get away around the top of the map. But I do push forward with a few Pred APC that I built from the expansion here. And as you can see, I'm going to go into triple airfield hammerhead here, just a mass transition, because I figure he's going to keep going with infantry because it's one of his best defenses at the moment. His main base is about to fall though. He's going to lose everything that's there. Now, Nashington did clean up my main, but I kind of just sold out of that area here. And of course, you can see these hammerhead transition, didn't see it coming, take out his 88 or his tier 2 there. Unfortunately, he does get a turret down, and he is coming back now, just targeting all his power down. This will slow him down heaps because he's got no tech now. He's only got infantry. These vehicles are moving into the back of his base. I'm like, yep, cool, let's try to snipe some of these harvesters down, target the damaged ones first. And I will get a few, but there's a bit too much infantry there for me to take, so I do back out. Also, I do take both of Nashington's spikes. I'm on 4 spike, but he's still got the guts to actually push in an attack, damaging my power grid as well, which is slowing me down. You can see the V-35s flying there from grabbing all of his spikes, and I was like, oh, this is so frustrating. He's just slowing me down. It's allowing me to get back in the game, but the hammerheads will clean this up very shortly. I also try to use Firehawks a lot, but they just weren't terribly effective in this game. A lot of them getting shot down. You can see here I'm trying to engage Mantis as well, trying to focus them down, but they do so much damage. I do actually kind of hold this position. Actually, no, maybe I fall back. Yeah, I think I actually fall back. And Nashington did counterattack, but it wasn't terribly effective, so my next attack moved forward. He did have tech down. All my hammerheads have pretty much been wasted in the counterattack though, so it's just a ground force only. They do snipe that Purifier down, which is a good hit. It got it on a rear armor as well, and I had to really micro my APCs hard to make sure they were hitting the actual rocket squads and not shooting at anything else like the base defenses and things like that. And I got the Predators to try to focus down the buildings as well, so there was a lot of micro in this engagement. You can see I'm constantly reordering the APCs to hit certain targets and to make sure they're killing these dudes as fast as possible, because he was just desperately trying to hold on. He had a tech center. He did click me, but I got a good sell-off, and I have moved into his main, you can see on the radar as well. So I was pretty confident throughout this game, but I kept having this nagging feeling that Nashington was going to make a comeback, and he was still alive in this game, still causing me problems. I'm rocking the 4 spike though, and I have got another base up, so it was starting to really swing in my favor at this point in the game. Now, Nashington did try to expand back into my main, which is what he needed to do, but I did knock out his emissary before he could do that, which was a big win because he had no further reco beyond this base. And as you can see here, rebuilding most of my hammerheads as well, and just making sure they're microed back and forwards. The APC's on the ground, pretty much cleaning up everything else, and this was the point I'm like, yep, cool, no worries. I've actually got an outpost up there, but Firehawk still trying to bomb what they can. They weren't, again, terribly effective in the game, but they were pretty much there all the time. So, again, at this point, Nashington realizes, yep, cool. He thinks he's done, and yeah, we'll actually fight back match point and take game number 7. So game 8, once again match point for myself here. I need to win this game to stay in, and I did actually notice this big stream of Black Kane infantry moving across the field on arena. I'm like, this is an all-in, this is an all-in. Nashington has the guts to all-in me. I'm immediately selling up, trying to get a defense, putting down as many towers as possible. That power plant placement could have been a little bit better, but as you can see, he's already here, and we're going to watch this engagement. This is pretty much the only clip from this game, because obviously it's an all-in, so it's going to be win or loss here, and I'm desperately trying to get the towers down, trying to defend him out. He should have really attacked when he was in force. He kind of is streaming in a little bit here, but I was desperately trying to hold this one here. He's got a lot of Black Hand infantry, the towers again, trying to sell them off, trying to sell the racks off as well, and I was sitting there, I was going, oh man, if he wins this game, and I was trying to put my towers back further and further. A lot of the towers at the front going down pretty quickly. I started to realize they weren't in the absolute best placement. He did try to go for the MCV. I'm like, oh man, if he flames this down, but he had to switch targets because he was losing too much infantry, and then he's trying to get my power as well. I had to power micro like a god. I was like, oh my god, I need these up online right now, and I accidentally double powered that one there, which was a pain. And it's at this point I'm like, oh my god, I thought I held it, but he's actually coming through, and I'm like, I've only got one tower left. Had to pull a harvester off the line to try to fight here. This tower's behind the MCV as well, and that one was a little bit too far back. But as you can see at this point, I'm like, oh my god, I think I'm actually going to hold this one here. And I was like fist pumping, like, dat hold. That harvester is going to get destroyed. But at the end of the day, Nashington has a barracks. That's all he has left in his infantry there, just getting cleaned up. And he did stay in the game about a minute or so after this until I actually rebuilt some pitbulls to go kill his barracks. But again, I was like fist pumping. I was like, hell yeah, it's going to go to an ace match. Nashington was not happy that I held that either, and I was pretty happy with myself for holding that down, but both sides could have done a better job. So we took it to the ace match, and whoever wins here goes through to the Command Cup 2015 Grand Final. He picked Badlands, and I wasn't too impressed with that. He did Reckoner open, but it was actually an Engineer Reckoner to take my spikes, and he did have a Black Hand squad with it as well, which really threw me off, but that dictates the opening parts of the game before we move into some more action. So he did push me away from some of my spikes, but I pushed him off the blue tib field. He was trying to take blue tib on the top side, and I managed to prevent him from doing that with double war factory pits here. He's actually going to make another swing at it, so I was like, this guy here sending his Cabals forward, but the Bite Buggy are a little bit too far behind. I'm like, you're going to lose that Harvester, buddy. So that was a good deny there. I'm going to trade with the Bite Buggy as well afterwards, but that slowed his eco down. At that point, we kind of both took a swing at each other. He did do an attack on my main, which I had to kind of abandon my main somewhat. There's Bite Buggy in there, but there's Preds and APCs all over the place. And meanwhile, I do get some Pitbulls in. Surprisingly, there's absolutely no defense at his main, so that will allow me to claim some Harvesters. But nonetheless, I did get pushed off my main somewhat, but I will take it back. But it was a bit of a messy engagement by both parties. No one really came out ahead in that one. And then of course the buggy runs in, which can only mean one thing. It's click time. I got the sell off, but it still hurt, and I think he then tib veined my army there and just wiped that, which, oh man, this click hurt me. I did have some harvesters at the blue, so that's okay, but those clicks really put me back quite far. And Nash then did a few small pushes of infantry here, but my economy was just so sluggish, man. It was so hard to get back in the swing of things after this happened here. Of course, he had a Redeemer out as well by this point, so I knew that was coming for me. So I was trying to get my Hammerhead numbers up and things like that. So I will hold this attack, but it definitely wasn't looking good for me in this game. I can't believe it. I seemed to just slip away here. I couldn't really explain it. But of course I did still manage to get out and about and take out some of his blue harvesters, prevent him, just harass him, just slow him down just until that push was coming that I really needed to stop. Mantis also make an appearance. Then I had to try to jump around, sniping some of his harvesters to pull his army back while he had his Redeemer there. I was EMPing with EMP grenades, but he had like buggies there, so I lured all of his Mantis back. The Hammerheads are going to rock up in a second because they lured them all the way around, and of course he forgets about them there, which further helps me out. So I'm going to be able to take out these Raider buggies, and the Redeemer doesn't have a flame on it, so I'm like, hey, I can actually hold this if I get some Preds out and keep EMPing. I got the Hammerheads as well. I can actually do this. A few of them will fall to those buggies though. But I got hit by a Vapor Bomb, and then another Catalyst came down. I'm just like, oh man, I was reeling from that. Mantis going to rock up as well. I'm almost out of EMP grenades, I believe. These Hammerheads are just trying to run around in circles. Some of the Mantis, I'm trying to focus them down with a few Preds I still have remaining, but there's almost no EMP left for myself. He's got EMP, of course, for his own units. These Mantis still chasing those guys down, just like, cool, I need a lot of turrets, and I need a lot of rocket squads, because again, he's got a Redeemer with no flame in it, so I could potentially hold it. And of course the attrition does pay off because I do actually destroy everything but the Redeemer, and with these units here I believe I could take it out, but a big swarm of Bite Buggy then rocks up and I was like, yep, cool, alright, so that's probably game here. So Nashington will take the series. He will take it 5-4, so it couldn't get any closer than that. I was a little bit disappointed, but I felt I played pretty well in the series. Of course, well done to Nashington. Good luck to him in the grand final as well. So 5-4 in favour of Nashington there. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Of course, stay tuned to my channel for the grand finals, everything like that. KanesWrathOnline.com, Command Cup 2015. I'm Green Zero. I'll catch you all in the next video.
Unit under attack. Structure sold. Structure sold. You have lost.